I'm in chapter 30 where somebody might be in chapter 25 right now, right? Like we're not in the same chapters, but I've been through the hard stuff. And even now where things are so great, like here I am crying on this fucking podcast because I'm just like, it's hard. Like it is so hard to just accept that somebody loves me for me and wants to help me and that I'm the greatest investment that they could have.
I hear you say, like Rick said, we'll figure it out. I'm like, God, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome that you have Rick, that you have someone that said, we'll figure it out. And then, my initial, the devil on my shoulder is like, see, you have no one. That's why Cassie can do it and you can't, because Cassie has someone and you don't. And that's a bold fucking lie. That's a bold faced fucking lie, because I have so many people in my life that have shown up in this period for me in ways that I was not ready to, because I didn't want to accept it.
It's one of my favorite movie quotes is like, I don't want to be the girl on the pedestal. I want to be the person in somebody's arms. And I think me and this podcast is actually getting to the place that's like, no, fuck it. I am on the damn pedestal, but also I need somebody that's on that pedestal
Mhm.
to also keep me in their arms.
3 women, 3 paths, 1 mission. To prove that your story is not your limitation, to guide you towards your muchness, to explore the unfiltered truths, and to challenge every bit of belief that built your mask. This is Go Be Too Much, the unapologetic space for the bold, the healing, and the unfinished, where we decide what's too much was always meant for more. So let's chat. Maybe we'll fuck around and find out just how unmissable we all are.
Well, here we are. We're back again. And this week we're going to talk about getting out of our own way, getting out of our comfort zone. This is Go Be Too Much. I'm MJ. We got Mandy and Casi here. And we wanted to talk about getting out of our comfort zone as the few weeks have gone by, and we've been doing this more and more. Probably the best feedback we all get and that we give ourselves is that we're finally feeling a bit more comfortable doing this. So, we're 3 individuals that this is not something we envisioned for ourselves. This was not something that was always in our plan, on our radar, and it is definitely something that we are making up as we go. That doesn't mean that the content and the information and what we're doing isn't stuff that we're fully aware of and feel that are important topics and we're planning those out in advance. It just means that we ourselves are trying to do the things that we're talking about, which I think is important, because as much as we may, be a little bit of expert in the sense of life for a lot of this stuff, we're still presently going through it day to day. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we're getting out of our comfort zone, how we get out of our own way, because we all 3 of us in different shapes and forms kind of sabotage in different areas of life. And so let's just start off by one of you. You can decide who is going to talk a little bit about their comfort zone, whether it comes to this or something else in their life right now.
I'm going to take a real quick second to interject and always plug, as always, the link that is in all of our bios, our business bios, and now hopefully in our Spotify, YouTube selection of where you guys can interact with us. Our listener form, you can go in, you can get out of your comfort zone and you can fill it out and you can share your stories with us, because we really do like interacting with our listeners. We love to talk to each other. This is the most consistent I ever get to talk to friends in 2 different states and 2 different time zones, but we love to interact. So get out of your comfort zone, go check out that link, leave us a little note, leave us feedback, tell your story, whatever you're comfortable with, but do the scary thing and just go check it out, because we love it. We love to interact, and it makes our job easier when we have that to go off of. That's my interjection.
You don't want to go first?
I mean, I can. Are you
I was
ready?
like, I can be ready. Whatever.
You go for it.
Okay. So talking about that, I will talk about basically what we're talking about right now, which is filming ourselves and recording, and how it just gives me the ick, but it's one to many and you can reach more people when you do it like this rather than being in a room where people have to show up and there's 30 people. We could reach the masses doing it this way. And I don't like being on video. I don't like recording myself. I'll snap a selfie, but that's because I could take 10 of them before it happens.
Mhm.
but I don't like recording myself. And even worse, I don't like editing it because then I have to watch and listen to myself. And that just gives me the freaking heebie jeebies. But now that we've been doing it for a month, getting out of my own way started
A
doing it for
month.
my I know. Isn't that crazy, Ron? I was like, "Whew." But, I started recording for my own business now because I have gained the confidence from Mary's and you guys starting this that I was like, why can't I do it for myself? Like, get out of your own fucking way, Cassie. And
Yes.
yeah. So I launched a YouTube. I had no idea what I was freaking doing, but work in progress here. I started making more videos for my TikTok and my Instagram. Bless any of you who watch those. And just, I know that the first 100 are probably going to suck, but the only way you get better at anything is repetition, right? Like when my kid's like, I'm not good at that. And I'm like, well, no, you've never done it before. Why would you be? It's the same mentality I have to tell myself. I've never done this before, so I need to keep doing it and practicing and also being like, "Hey, that wasn't a great idea or that didn't work out so great. How could I shift?" So that would be my getting out of my own way is because we started this, I decided to get out of my own way and do it for my own business. So pretty scary, but also exciting.
And we are
Super
excited
excited.
for you and that to be unfolding.
Yeah, so shameless, not shameless plug. Everybody go find Cassie's TikTok, YouTube channel. Go check it out. I learned things. I have no desire to buy a house, y'all. Like, I do not want that responsibility. I could never want to. But I check out Cassie's content. I learn new things all the time because a big part of me and getting in my own way, staying in my own way is everything attached to shame and anything that causes me to feel shame, whether like I project that outwardly or if it's just the internal spiral is always going to be tied to like finances and money and things like that. I just do not have a good relationship with money and finances in general because that's a thing that everybody has an opinion on. Everybody has something that you should be doing and you should be more responsible. You should make better decisions. You should not be spending your money on X, Y, and Z. And I hate feedback around money. So I hate having conversations about money. But the world we live in, thank you, capitalism, is very expensive. It's a very expensive world. And when you're the individual that is responsible for absolutely everything in your life tied to money, and then you decide to pivot in your career and take a job where consistency looks different, you're not consistently going in every single day to clock in and get a paycheck, you start to panic. And I think that that has been a big lesson I keep avoiding trying to learn over this past 6 weeks of contract life. Not having a contract is I don't have steady money coming in. Yes, I can go and work and yes, I can go take contracts. I can go do things, but I don't have consistency in a paycheck, every 2 weeks or whatever it is. And that is causing me to have a lot of very honest conversations with myself and people around me because I need help. I'll have it eventually. It will be coming eventually, but that looks a little different when you're trying to pay rent, you're trying to pay card note, you're trying to like have groceries and you got a bougie ass dog that doesn't like the food that she's been eating forever now. You got to pivot and shit. Like it is not fun. And that I think, if I was honest about owning a house, it's the financial piece. I don't want the financial burden of a house payment of when the shit breaks down. Like I'll lose it. I'll spiral so fast. When I rent, I can call someone. But that's the hardest thing. I just had a conversation with a friend last night and I told her I wanted to puke from anxiety. I was like, I have to text you this because I don't know that my mouth will say it. I think I'll chicken out if I try to say it. So I'm going to text you. You can call me if you want to talk about it, but I need to text you first because that's been our compromise on tough conversations is like, here's the bat signal. I'm struggling. Here's what I'm struggling with, but I can't say those words because it literally, my body has a physical reaction to conversations I don't want to have, and they're always around money. But if we go to the root issue of money and financial stressors and things like that, is I don't always think that I deserve whatever it is. I don't think that I should take up space or should be able to ask for help or should rely on others because I'm supposed to have it. I'm supposed to control it. I'm supposed to be handling all my business because That's what anxious control looks like is I've got it. I need to control everything because if I don't control it, then that doesn't feel good. And then I spin out and I crash out and it's not a good time. So financial conversations, I'm gonna take it all the way back to fucking Dave Ramsey. My dad listened to Dave Ramsey all the time growing up. Cash is king, debt is dumb. Like I cannot tell you the mental spiral. I heard the soundbite from the opening to Dave Ramsey at my last job. My boss played the original song and I immediately freaked the fuck out. And everyone in the room was like, what is happening? I was like, I don't know, but you need to change the channel right now because it immediately took me back to being lectured about being dumb with money, about being stupid. Why did you buy that? Why are you doing this? Whatever, whatever, whatever. Ooh, and I was like, okay, so write that down for therapy. We're going to just add that to the list of things that we need to continue unpacking because gross. I hate it. I stay in my own way. I stay in my way with those conversations. I hate asking for help.
Well, I love that you brought that up because I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. I know I do. I mean, I still try to figure it out because it's like, oh, if this is what I'm going to do, like,
Mm-hmm.
even I'll get to the point where like I'm going to budget, right? I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
these are the things. And then when I actually get it,
Uh-huh.
I don't. I could tell you there's so many things on my list that I
Yes.
said I was going to buy like a year ago. And this morning I
Yes.
was like, Cassie, you said 3 commission checks ago you were, and it's
Huh?
stuff I need, but I'm like, nah, it can wait. Just keep pushing it to the back. And now I'm like, son of a biscuit. I really need to get,
Mm-hmm.
I really
Mm-hmm.
need to do these things. But um I think it's I think it's good that you acknowledge it and like I hate having those conversations 100%. Like Rick's all about like talking about those things and transparency and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, we've been together 4 years and I'm still like,
Right. Well, and I've never seen what transparency around those tough conversations look like. But we can look at a financial discussion. We were not talked to about money. It was we don't have it, we ain't got it, we ain't gonna have it. And that was the life that we lived. My parents always made it happen. They always found a way. And I think about that all the time and judge myself internally because they made it happen with nothing and 4 kids. And I'm over here having the struggle that I'm having, but we didn't talk about that. We didn't have conversations. I don't know how to have a conversation with someone about, hey, I need help. I'm embarrassed and I am shameful and I am spiraling. But take that to any concept or any aspect of my life, be that relationships, be that, you know, jobs, careers, things like that. Conversations, tough conversations. And we always come back to this communication. Communication is such a skill that we don't teach, that we don't think about. We think it's, hi, my name is Mandy, yada, yada, yada. But it is like, no, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm observing and this is what I'm doing. And it's so much bigger than that. So much bigger.
yeah. Another thing I thought about, Mandy, not to put you on the spot, but when we were talking about getting out of your own way, I think of how this fall you're like, what do I want to do? Like, what is this chosen career path? And you just kept going, well, what am I going to do? And we're like, you'll figure it the fuck out. I don't know. And then finally you got out of your own way. And are things a little scrappy? Are they a little messy? Absolutely. But look at, what has happened in the last week for you. And those would not have happened if you did not get out of your own way.
God damn it.
So I just want to acknowledge you and pat you on the back.
I appreciate that. I did. I fought with my roommate the entire time we were at our on our little trip in Seattle because I am used to being the one that takes care of everything, controls everything, and kind of runs the show. And I had to take a step back and I had to let her lead in that aspect, financially speaking, because she's in a better spot than I am right now. And yeah, you're right. When I did that and wanted to puke, I accepted a contract. I got a contract with a new school that feels like a good fit for me and where I'm at and my personality. And that is what the feedback was. The feedback that I got after that interaction with that school, they honed in on specific pieces of my personality. And I did a virtual interview with them and they noted like usually virtual interviews are hard to get a good feel for someone, but they said my personality really came through and my personality was what they really appreciated. And I told someone yesterday, I was like, I'm an acquired taste. And so people either love me or they don't. And so when someone gives feedback and it is specific to what they liked about my personality, that is huge for me. And I think that that's what I had been waiting for in a contract or my next position, my next role is like, I have to be a good fit because my last contract blew it out of the water. I was such a good fit. It just meshed well. And that's because I quit my job with 2 days notice and decided to bet on myself and go do and live a different life. And I had a phenomenal experience. So it's scary as fuck to keep doing the uncomfortable thing, but it's working out. It's working out somehow.
Yeah. Well, I'll just segue in here and talk about how it was a year ago that I quit my W-2 job. And that
Right.
is the scariest freaking thing ever. I was like, what am I going to do? And Rick's like, we'll figure it out. And so I just learned and learned and learned and submerged myself with so many people. Bless all the people that put faith in me. And like, here I am a year later. And I totally get why the failure rate is so high because
Hmm.
you have to have the grit, the drive, the boundaries to figure it out.
Hmm.
But also, I worked 98% of the time for zero, like nothing. But I'm working for that when the 2% does happen. And it's amazing when it does, but it's hard on your heart. It's hard on your soul.
Yes.
It's hard to wake up every day and go, is today the day? I'm going to try to make it that day. And you just have to show
Hmm.
up every single day. And it is so hard. And I've been doing it for 366 days now. And I
Yes.
and I'm just like, I can see why the failure rate's hard because I have to bet on myself every single day and I have to get out of my way. That's not to say I don't have pity parties. It doesn't mean I don't cry. It doesn't mean I don't have meltdowns or burnout, but I still every day I'm like, you know what? Today's the day. And tomorrow I'll be like, today's the day, and so on and so forth. So I feel that. And I'm a year in and it's
Yes.
still hard.
Well, and I think so a couple things came up while you were talking about that. And, my internal judgment and shame around things. I hear you say, like Rick said, we'll figure it out. I'm like, God, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome that you have Rick, that you have someone that said, "We'll figure it out." And then, my initial, the devil on my shoulder is like, "See, you have no one. That's why. That's why Cassie can do it and you can't because Cassie has someone and you don't." And that's a bold fucking lie. That's a bold-faced fucking lie because I have so many people in my life that have shown up in this period for me in ways that I was not ready to because I didn't want to accept it. It didn't look like how I thought it should. I couldn't control that. And again, getting out of your own way consistently and unrecognizing like I'm not alone and I do have people that want to do these things for me. It just doesn't look like how I thought it would. So when you ask the universe, you ask whatever your belief system is for abundance and love and compassion and money and financial stability, and you think it's going to look like this, it's not.
It's not. Well,
It's
and just realizing that it doesn't have to be a partner. It could be a friend. It could be
exactly.
somebody you've known your whole life or literally somebody you've known for 2 weeks. Like, you just don't know. And
Exactly.
I think that's the funny thing is, like, once you do get out of your own way, what you thought was gonna happen and what actually happens are 2 completely separate things. Like, I think about all the scenarios in my head. I never would have thought I lived in Salt Lake. I never thought I'd go rock climbing. You tell me I was going skydiving? Yeah, you're fucking crazy. Like, all these different things, and I'm just like, "But why? Like, why can't I do it?" And it's because I told myself I can't. And my favorite quote, it's Henry Ford, where he says, "If you say you can, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right," whatever it is.
Mhm. Mm.
So I apologize, but I did not hear and participate in the conversations going back and forth between the two of you. But I did want to say when you were talking, Mandy, that I think what you touched on was about being, triggered with things and understanding like in your body when things would resonate and that it wasn't like, what is this? I need to look at this later, things like that. And I was going to say that I do think a lot of times when we are trying to, or needing to, maybe I should say, actually get out of our own way, like we're being triggered and we don't even know it. And then that is why we get in our own
Mhm.
way. And so then we're sabotaging and we don't even know that that's really what we're doing. And so when you were bringing that up, I just thought about that for me with this, getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of our own way, um, as far as this whole thing that we're doing, that for me is a big one of, comfort zone of that, that I could do this, that I could run a business, that I could be seen, that people are going to get it. People are going to understand, relate, things like that. Because for me, like I just said with little Zelda as my mini me is that I often didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I was understood. I still think that a lot of times I'm not understood, things like that. And I know now through things in life that that's, again, not so much about me, but it's still putting yourself out there in a way that sort of forces me to have to be seen and forces me to have to be maybe misunderstood, things like that. And then also to be seen by people who actually get it. And that turns out that I want to run away from way more than I ever thought I would. I thought I'd be like, yeah, welcome it with open arms. No, wrong, 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 wrong. I am like, you see me, you get me? Oh no,
Absolutely not.
no, you
Safe
don't.
place is
No,
the
you
thing we
don't.
run from. We wanna go back to the chaos. We're like, "Oh, you're
Really,
safe? Nah, I don't like that. Oh, you're crazy?
really.
Perfect. Red flag."
Cassie, I think I'd rather go do that haunted house that Davina did last night over like having someone be nice to me.
She would not agree with you. I have never heard her scream so freaking hard. I was like, "Oh, poor
I
child."
I hate haunted houses. I hate it, but I know that that's what's supposed to be happening. I know that my stomach's gonna drop to the bottom. I feel like I'm gonna shit my pants, and I'm gonna be afraid because I'm supposed to be. Like those are the scary things that I can see. I'm supposed to be scared. This is creepy. This is weird. I hate it. And then a human is nice to me, and my body is like suspicious. They want something. They're trying to use you. This is gross. Run away. Sabotage. Be mean. Say that blunt thing. Say that really mean, harsh thing. Like scare them away because everyone runs away. Everyone will run away. If you're just your true self, everyone will run away because you're a bitch. You're too aggressive. You're too mean. You're too whatever. And so if even if I'm not physically running away like I want to, me running away is self-sabotaging. So you run away and leave me alone. Like it's a maladaptive defense mechanism for
Yeah. And I think that it's so getting out of my own way and out of my comfort zone outside of this has been primarily for me in two different areas of life, but ironically, very much the same in dealing with interactions with people, connections, building a sense of community that I very much know that I crave, I desire. But at the same time, like I also love to be alone. I do good alone. I know being alone. Like, I am not the person that gets out of relationships and jumps just immediately into something else. Like, no,
No,
I'm
we
good.
are
Like,
A
being
plus.
alone.
What is it? Is it like A plus, like secluded? I'm good.
Right. Right. Yeah. The hermiting, I do well at it. And so then when it's like my soul starts to be like, okay, it's time to come out of that now, then I'm like, are we sure? Are we sure?
Nah,
And
that
the
sounds like
truth
a bad
is, I
idea.
think a lot of it has to do with balance. Like, can I really balance it? Can I give myself that alone, isolated time that I need to recharge, all those things, but then also balance socializing with people, interacting with other people, and not overgiving and trusting myself that I'm going to balance both of those things differently. And so, trying to make new friends and hang out with new people and put myself out there in ways, has been again received well. It's gone well. And then also with dating and trying to not just be completely closed off to any opportunity that presents itself. And that is probably my biggest. This is why we have girlfriends because, talking over and over about a situation happening. And then they're like, would you just get out of your own?
Mary Jean, get the fuck out of your own way. I'm pretty sure that was my exact message to you.
I was
I think
probably
in
very
some shape or
similar.
form, you all said it to me.
And that's why a lot of times I don't bring dating or crushing or romantic relationships at all into my conversations with people. I won't do it because I know you guys will call me out. I know you will hold me accountable and I'm not ready
We
in
say
many
it with
ways.
love
I know,
and
and I know
endearment.
that. I know that, but in many ways, like I don't that still feels very unsafe for me. And I haven't dated hug in like over a decade. I haven't intentionally tried dating in over a decade. And anytime I think about entering that space, it feels so unsafe. Mary, you said balance, like balancing who you are and what you're into and your alone time and connection. Connection is huge for me. I say that for everything. I want to connect with people, and that's where I thrive, is in connection. But the second somebody sees me, or I, waft of a relationship, like, you're trying to control who I am. Stop that. Shut it down now. Like, I can't be me in a relationship. I can't be who I want to be and be in a relationship, because then that means people see me as a unit. People see me as a relationship, and I don't want to be that, because I am me first. And I think that that's because I've never been in a relationship with anyone that let me be me and appreciated it. It was, you have to tone it down, or you have to present a certain way. And so my brain and body associate relationship with loss of identity. And my identity is so important to me because I fought my ass off to be the most authentic version of myself. And so anytime I think about dating, I'm like, fuck that noise. And so then if
Yes.
I get excited about a silly little thing, or cute little boy, cute little man, I just tuck that away and self-sabotage internally. Don't even tell you guys.
I mean, I do feel like we try to protect ourselves, but it's like, why and from what? Because I mean,
Mhm.
I think about, in a relationship aspect, when I first met Rick, one of the first things he sent me was a YouTube video on love bombing. And he's like, "Am I doing this to you? Because I don't want to." And I was like, "Absolutely not." Like, first off, that was the first time I'd ever even heard of what that meant. So,
God.
but but I think about it, and previous people, do your best life over there,
Well, mhm.
like, they totally did. Absolutely. Like, they just showered me in all of the things. And when he sent that to me, I was like, "Why the fuck are you sending me this video? Like, who are you?" And
God
it's
bless
because
him.
he had been told that that's what he does. And I'm here to tell you, it's been 4 years, and he still opens the door for me every single day. He still asks if my cup is full every single day. He is such a gentleman. And I gloat about him on every episode, but like, he really does. Like, he is such a kind human being. And so when I think of whoever told him they were love bombing, I was like, that narcissistic asshole is probably the one that was doing the love bombing, right? But we don't know that. And he's just the kindest soul. And when I first met him and I had been so traumatized, I would go cry in a closet for the first 6 months. I was like, "Why are you so nice to me?" And I would just cry, and it would cripple my whole day. Like, I didn't want to deal with life. I didn't have a job at the time, so therefore I didn't have any responsibilities. And I would just sit in the closet for 8 hours because I was so crippled. And he would just come sit next to me and be like, "You good?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Okay." And he'd just sit there and just wait. And I was like, "What the heck?" And finally he's like, "Cassie, I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna do any of these things. Like, when are you going to be okay with the fact that life is good? Life is great." Like, and all these things. And I was like, why? Life is great. Like, he's never yelled at me. He's never hit me. He's never done anything. Like, why am I creating this thing in my head? And yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but getting out of my own way for that. Now I just sit on a podcast and talk about how much I love this man, and it's sickening.
I
Everyone's
know.
like,
And,
"Stop."
and I'm over here like, he did what? He said what? But let that enter my space, and I'd like, fuck no. I'm
You
like,
know,
no,
no.
no,
I
no,
want
no,
it, but
no.
just kidding.
Yeah, like, I said I want that, and I love that for you, because you deserve that. You deserve all of those things.
You deserve that, ma'am.
That's
All of my friends, like, I know what it's like to have just this great human in my life that I'm like, I manifested for all of you, for all of my friends, because we talked about this in an episode, your top shelf, and the things you do for other people is the things that those people will do for you. And you, Mandy, deserve all of the things in life.
Well, and I think, Mandy, you talking about like that fear of losing your identity, like, I mean, it's real for all of us, I think, and not, and being confident in that identity, and knowing that, having it be reciprocated in somebody correctly when it's unknown to you, like, it's hard to believe that it's possible, or it's hard to believe that somebody really could. And we can believe that it can happen for other people. We can believe
mhm.
that it can happen just in general, but it's like, then the concept when it presents to us, it's like, is that really what's happening? And it's understandable to doubt that when all your experiences leading up to that have confirmed in you this negative narrative. And so to be able to get out of your own way, to give somebody an opportunity to either show up really that this is how they are and change now this new belief in you, or they're going to show up and be as the same narrative, but trusting ourselves to stop it sooner, to not,
Mhm.
try and keep that potential of it, to not try and change and adapt ourselves for that. And, it's, I think, obviously, like throughout, I think about a bunch of like my relationships and stuff. And, whether, yeah, some of them maybe love bombing, going quick like that, just feeling the butterflies and the giddy and the all that getting swooped up in it. And that people think this of me, this amazingness, this wow. And it's like, yeah, because that's who I am. So, yay, somebody sees that and thinking that I'm being seen when that's not really what's happening. And so then if somebody's going to show up and act like as if they see me, I question that. And so I actually had an experience recently where somebody had said that they thought that I was pretty amazing and things like that. And I said thank you in the moment and was just kind of like, yeah, I'm like, thanks. Like, and
What do
I
I do with
do
my
feel
hands?
better. I do feel better texting sometimes than verbally communicating. So I texted a little bit later and was like, "Hey, I need you to know that like you saying that I'm pretty amazing and that you kind of feel like you might be crazy about me a little bit I like you. It's not that I don't. It's just that it's things like that kind of put me in a triggered place and I don't know what to do with that." And they were like, "Well, like tell me about it. Like what is that triggering?" I was like, "Well, you see,
Look at that communication.
Yeah.
So sexy.
been told before that I'm like the dream girl, that I'm the it thing, that I'm what everybody would want. I'm amazing." And I am. I am. But then when those people, after a certain point, all those things that they claimed were all this wonderful, great things were actually like the things that caused problems or were their own insecurities and things like that.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, so I don't, it's one of my favorite movie quotes is like, I don't want to be the girl on the pedestal. I want to be the person in somebody's arms. And I think me and this podcast is actually getting to the place that's like, no, fuck it. I am on the damn pedestal, but also I need somebody that's on that pedestal
Mhm.
to also keep me in their arms. And that's the
Abso-fucking
biggest. Right? Yeah. So to say that they were glad that I shared that, they were relieved to know that I was not like freaked out because they themselves were a little worried that they just like scared the shit out of me. And I was like, yeah, but just not for the reasons that you think. Like other people might, like Mandy might get told, like, I think you're amazing and I'm really crazy about you. And she's like, nope, like, ouch, right?
I
That's not it for me. It's like, yeah, what's the catch? Like where's that a problem for you actually?
Well, you love that. I'm an independent boss, babe. Thank you. Like, that's so great. But
until you don't,
until
until
you
you
Until you
don't,
don't.
don't.
right?
Right, right.
I know, because all three of us are super, I shouldn't say super, like hyper independent. Like, we all can make anything happen for ourselves. I really don't need anybody. Um, I would be content with my cat and my dog because they don't talk back. And, all the things, right? But like finding somebody who, I think I said this on the podcast before. Rick says that I'm the best investment that he will ever have, which is why I've been able to do the things I'm doing. Like Mary, you talked about, I want to be on that pedestal, but I want to be in somebody's arms, you know? It really does make a difference. And I feel like I'm going to get sappy talking about this, so we can definitely change the narrative because it's so hard to allow somebody. I'm gonna start crying. It's so hard to allow somebody. My eyes, look at you can see their skin all teary. It's okay. It's so hard to allow somebody to help you, and like when it actually happens, you're just like, why do I deserve this? Like, why are
Mhm.
you being so nice to me? And when is the other shoe gonna fall? And then I'm in a place of accepting the fact that this guy actually likes me. We're getting married next spring. So, I should probably be like, it's happening, Cassie. Like, right. But it's hard. Like, I mean, I know sometimes when I say things, you're probably like, oh, Cassie, you just have it so easy. But it's like, I've been in those hard spots, and I'm in chapter 30 where somebody might be in chapter 25 right now, right? Like we're not in the same
Mhm.
chapters, but I've been through the hard stuff. And even now where things are so great, like here I am crying on this fucking podcast because I'm just like, it's hard. Like it is so hard to just accept that somebody loves me for me and wants to help me and that I'm the greatest investment that they could have. So I'll let you guys take it so I quit crying.
I was going to say that you sharing that is so insecurities that I've come to find in others when in a relationship with them and stuff. And so that was something that I knew after my marriage and after some failed, situationships or whatever stupid people call it these days, whatever.
20
I was like, okay, like I need to pay more attention to these insecurities that I kind of notice and stuff. And so that was something that I initially, with this current person I'm getting to know, like felt that I could feel like from our conversation and our interactions the first couple of times, like that there was some sort of like insecurity or doubt or like unsureness. And I was just like, yep, here's somebody. He seems like he's got great potential, a good guy. Like we got good connection and laugh and blah blah blah. And I'm like, but probably this, that, or the other. So I was quick and I judged a book. And because of that book, I was getting in my own way and I was making those, assumptions, right? And was I making those assumptions off of things that I have seen and whatnot in the past? Yes, sure. But again, not every book is the same. And it was funny because when I, finally got out of my own way because y'all told me to, I actually told this individual like that this was part of why initially I was really like hesitant. And the response was like, oh, and they're like, well, I wasn't like insecure because of X, Y, and Z. Like, let's just say finances, for example, because that tends to be a big one. He's like, oh no, like I got that covered, which I knew that because he had a good job. So I was like, so what is it, the insecurity about, right? And I'm like, just not being good enough or whatever, this, that, or the other that other people have had. And then he tells me, well, I didn't know how you would need me, like how I could be of help. And he's like, because this girl got everything. Why would she want me kind of thing? And he's like, what could I offer? And I was like, okay, so I wasn't wrong. There was an insecurity. It just wasn't in the way. And I was like, oh, good heavens. Like, like I was like, see, I don't want to give that off either. And because we do need help. We are hyper independent, but I take care of me. That's what I do.
Love it. I am such a dominant person outside of my house that when I come home, I am so submissive and a little bebe that I'm just like, take care of me. You want to make me dinner and rub my feet? Okay. Like I 100% like I'll be high like I will run the world outside of these four walls, but the second I come home, I'm just a little bebe. Please take care of me.
So it was funny because it was finally getting out of my way and inviting him. We'd been friends. We'd done some things hanging out friend wise for like a few months. And then I finally getting out of my way was like, I've been blowing you off. I've been too busy. I've been all the things. Like come do this thing with me and my kids. And he was like, sure, why not? And my kids understood that this person was coming and was just a friend and all the things. But when they're seeing me and with my kids and carrying all this, like finally at one point they were like, can I carry some stuff? And I'm like, oh no, I got it. It's like I'm like dropping things and they
No,
just started
literally.
taking stuff.
I love that. Like, I need people. So I always thought words of affirmation was my thing, which we'll segue into that eventually. But I love when people do stuff for me without fucking asking. Like, I don't
That's
want
the
to ask
biggest
for it.
piece. That's the biggest piece.
I don't want to ask. I just want you to do it. And I know that not everybody was raised that way or thinks that way or anything, but that is another reason I love Rick, just like you were saying. I don't ask, he just does it. And like this person just was like, Mary Jean, I hear one thing, but your face is fucking saying another. Like, yeah, no, 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 no. And like taking the things. And eventually you were probably like, that's nice.
Well, I was like, oh, you're gonna carry my things for me? Like I don't. What are you doing? What do you mean
This
I
is
don't have to carry
nice.
all the things?
It's just one more.
So yeah, and of course, like so since that, it was funny because it gave him what he needed without me knowing that, which is like she totally does need people, just not it's not like an outrightly need, right? And and so yeah, so I just relate to that. I understand that, and got out of my own way for that.
So beautiful.
And yeah, it goes back to those assumptions that we always have, right? We assume things about situations, about people, places, things, and we assumed you didn't need him, and that projected in a certain way to you, and you assumed he had an insecurity like every other person before him, so you projected an energy back, and you're both just like having separate lives, separate conversations, separate experiences, and when you just like turned inward to each other and got a chance to communicate, God, that's the
I love that word.
word of the day, communicate.
always.
When you gave yourself a chance to be seen and communicate, then you guys were able to take a step forward in an actual meaningful direction that is helpful. You both got the information that your brains needed to be like, "Oh, okay, this is where I fit in." And like, "Oh, okay, this is how he can fit in. Like maybe I can let him into my life and let them hold all the shit at the event." Like you got to get out of your own way. Yes. But I think a lot of times, most of us, we need a little vote of confidence from the universe, from the person, whatever it is. We just need to know like that it'll be okay, or that I'll be okay. Even if it's not okay, that I'll be okay. And I think that's the big piece for me that I am still trying to learn. Like, even if it's not okay, I will be. And that's something we talked about a couple episodes ago, going back to your 90-10, it's 90% how you respond, 10% what happens.
Right.
So like, even if it doesn't work out or go how I think it should, I will be okay. I have spent the time, I have done the work to know that I've got me. But there's a fine line between I've got me and I don't fucking need anyone because I've got me. Like that line for me that I toe is so
I'm gonna
thin.
love to see whoever decides to trump into your life and they just sit there and they're like, okay, are you done? And you're like, no. And they're like, okay, continue. And you're like, how about now? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, would you still like to go get dinner? You're gonna be like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Like, I'm
No,
already like looking at this right now. You're just gonna be like, no. And he's gonna be like, are we going to dinner? And you're gonna be like, what are we getting?
cute.
And yes, we are, but
Yes, but I'm still gonna be like, I don't know. I'll feel about this. I love it though.
It goes back to, I think I used this reference before, like my trauma backpack. And, I always use teenagers because that's who I work with and I'm familiar with. Teenagers, walk around with a 50-pound backpack on them at all time. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you carrying literally everything in your life? We don't need that. You're just going to math class. You just need your math stuff. Me, in any aspect in life, showing up in a friendship, showing up in a relationship, showing up at a new job with this 50-pound trauma backpack, trying to like take out brick by brick and be like, I don't need this right now. Like, that's not important. And I can leave that here. Or letting somebody else carry a brick. That's
right.
that asking for help, then accepting the help. Like letting someone carry the load, literally or figuratively.
Well, and I think too, then it's also like for me, it's because then it's like figuring out a place of like what's appropriate of help,
Mm-hmm.
not appropriate of help, where
Mm-hmm.
things are at and how it progresses and things like that. And so, and giving the opportunity to, when it is appropriate, to ask that help so that they get to show up the way that they want to be able to show up and feeling that needed piece rather than always like taking away from that. And so it's interesting because I would say that there's probably people in my past that would be like, yeah, that was the problem. I never felt like you needed me. You always have it. And to which I would say, like, yeah, but of those situations, how much of that was I was being taught that I had to have it because the other person wasn't willing to or step up or understood in what ways it was being needed, that it was more than just like that, doing something without asking if you needed the help with it.
Yeah. Well, and like I mentioned earlier, like we have in other episodes, is comparison is a thief of joy. And what works for me, for MJ, for Mandy, is not going to work for everybody, right? Like I'm sure that the listeners can see themselves in one of us or whatever, but it's just understanding that if you're on chapter 1, don't look at my chapter 30 and be like, man, I wish that's where I was. But trust me, on my chapter 1, I sure as fuck did too. But like just allowing the processes to happen. And some of us go really fast and some of us go really slow. And how my relationship is isn't how MJ's is, how Mandy's is. Like we all have what is good for us. And I think that's the thing is like, what is going to work for you? And then talking to the other person and being like, this is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking. And making sure that you align with it, right? That you're both on the same page. Because if 1 month in, you both are like at each other's throats, I'm just saying, it probably ain't gonna get much better on month 3 or 6 or year 1. It's just gonna make it harder for you to disassociate, whether that's a relationship or a friend. I'm here to tell you, if you guys are on totally different wavelengths and it's spicy in the get go, it might not get less spicy. I don't know.
I think too, like you said, about what works for you and what you want and stuff. But also, again, it's just with the side of caution that sometimes we'll do that also to sabotage. Because again, you might start looking for something that isn't
Mhm.
really an issue and you're trying to make it one, or overthinking it, overlooking it, that kind of stuff. Because again, you're looking for a reason for it to not be right because it is going well.
Yeah.
Unsolicited advice from our resident anxious, angry single girl here. Go touch grass before you respond, before you make a decision, before you pop off on social media or friends, family, whatever. Like, go touch grass. And I mean that literally, I mean that figuratively, for whatever that looks like. Grounding yourself, whether that is quite literally going outside. I am in Arizona. We have rocks. It's not the same. We can't go touch rocks. Do the things that make you feel most like yourself. Because when you make decisions, when you make statements, when you form beliefs in that state of mind about, where you're looking to self-sabotage, you're nitpicking, you're looking for something to be wrong, you're looking to be right about your assumptions of this person, of that situation, you're going to find them. Your brain is going to tell you that you're a worthless piece of shit because you had to ask, for an extension on that bill you have to pay. You're going to feel like a worthless piece of shit because you had a need and somebody saw that and you let them do that for you. And we just don't want to make any decisions in those moments. So grounding and breathing, like, please don't underestimate the importance of breathing and taking a deep breath and like sleeping on it, thinking about it, because those moments, those feelings, those emotions feel all consuming and really powerful, because that is literally our body trying to regulate, trying to get us back to what it feels as safety. And
Mhm.
what safety is not always comfortable. We got to get
Right.
comfortable. Yeah.
No, I
Just take
agree
a breath.
fully.
Take a deep breath.
No, I agree fully. And I'm a believer too in journaling. Write out those thoughts. Don't just keep them in your head ruminating, write them out.
Hmm.
And when you write out the thought and put it out there and let yourself sit with it and take the deep breath, you might be able to see, like, well, that was really just one time. Why am I thinking that's every time? Or, whatever the case may be. And it allows you to step outside of it. Or you write it down. A couple days later, you're writing it down again. Maybe you start to see you're writing it down every couple of days and you're like, okay, this is really, it's on me for some reason, whether it's really happening, whether it needs to be a conversation. Like, and again, this is for any kind of relationship. This isn't just an intimate one. It's any kind of dynamic, I think, or situation, truly. Yeah. So with that discussion today, get out of your own way, get out of your comfort zone,
Go touch
challenge
grass.
yourself. What did you say?
Go touch grass.
Go touch grass, take deep breaths, try and see where maybe you're judging a book and letting yourself be judged, and you need to give yourself a little bit more grace. So, all right, well, until next time, go be too much, go be all that you are. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.